Omar here from my point of view, and today I'll be reviewing this 2020 Dodge Durango RT. Now, this is the third generation Durango. I believe it came out in 2011, so it's the same body style, pretty much just different little upgrades here and there, a little facelift. But for 2020, everything's pretty much the same. Only thing that's slightly different is this Hemi badge, which I think the 2019s did not have this Hemi badge. It looks kind of, I don't know, it looks kind of out of place. It looks kind of tacky to me. But at least you can tell and show off to everyone that you have a Hemi or you got the RT package. But this is a rear-wheel drive car. I don't have it in the 4x4. This is a fantastic vehicle, and there's only one question I want to ask today. I'm in the same spot, same color as the Dodge Charger RT. I'm gonna see if this is like a great substitute for the sedan, since, well, nowadays everyone switched from sedans to SUVs. But yet again, you know, I'm kind of a tall person. What if you just want, you know, just more luggage, more storage, stuff like that? You don't need a sports car, but you want something like a family hauler. Is this a great substitute to the Dodge Charger? Well, let's check it out, shall we? So, like the other one, this is the RT, but let's just keep looking at the outside real quick. It's still the same as pretty much 2011. Dodge has done some few touch-ups here. I am kind of disappointed that it's the 2020 year, and at least on our fleet, I don't have a video of these vehicles yet, but I'm looking at the Jeeps and the Rams, like the Ram 1500, the Ram Limiteds. I see that Fiat is really pumping money into the Jeeps and into the Rams as well. But I mean, Dodge is pretty much the same. It still has the same, you know, like data infotainment center, which we'll get into in a second. But I mean, I can't necessarily complain, because hey, you still get an SUV with a Hemi in it. So, but here we are. I love the hood scoop on this one, the RT. On the GT package of the Durango is slightly different. I don't think you have a 3 little scoops like this one has. I believe there's only 2 scoops, and I didn't have time today, sadly, to go to a Dodge dealership and like compare this model to like the base and the higher trim level, like a SRT, if they had it available. So yeah, if you want, you can just go on your phone or at least on the computer. So this is what we have right here. This is the RT. Let's see if you can see it. So this is exactly what I have right now. This one starts at $43,000. That's your starting price, about the options and stuff like that. So if you go to the left, you got the GT Plus, and you can see you remove the Hemi badges and the hood scoop, but it still has the same front end as it does in the just the RT. I got the blacked out mirrors right here. I got that option, that package, and the sunroof. You can tell this is a little dated because, well, a lot of car manufacturers are switching from sunroof to panoramic roofs. So this still has this, but once again, still can't complain. And it's got the black wheels as well. I'm pretty sure you get like in a nice little stainless, or the same color options as the Charger RT I had in the previous video. So that's the exterior. Let's just look at the key before we get in real quick. Here's the key. This time it's actual Dodge key, not a Chrysler key. You got your unlock, your lock, and you can open up the trunk by hitting it twice. Remote start real quick. Once you hit it twice, it locks itself, and then it'll start up in a second. We'll get to the engine and the horsepower, the torque, all that figures in a second, but just wanted to display the key for you guys. Everything on the inside is pretty much the same. The door panel is the same for 2020. Before we get in, these seats are comfortable, but it's not really supportive down here. And for 2020, sad to report, everything is still the same. It's a nice interior, but it is very, very dated. This is something that you'll probably see like on a top end level of probably of a 2014 Dodge Durango. Everything is user friendly. I mean, it's just simple. That's all it is. It's just simple. Everything is just the same Dodge. So I got the key fob with me. It's in my pocket right now. So just hit my foot on the brake, hit the start button. So the RPM gauge, the temperature, and the gas meter is all fixed, but you can change the center gauge right here using these up and down arrows, and okay in the left and right. So let's just do the speedometer. So you can turn to the left or to the right to change it from digital to like a actual analog speed gauge. And once you do that, I'm not for sure this camera phone can actually pick it up well, but once you switch from miles per hour or kilometers, like in the digital, and you go to the old traditional, this little outline right here will be here for a quick second, and then once it goes away, you can actually see like the needle. So this is actually like a true needle, or at least a digital needle. So you can see this whole part move up. It's not just this little white triangle, but it's actually a needle right now. You can press OK, and they can switch from miles per hour to kilometers in both settings. So got your kilometers right here and the miles per hour, and same for the digital. So all right, so moving on. So if you switch it here to digital and you go down to your other options like the oil pressure and the performance and the vehicle information, the speedometer will still be up here visible to you. But let's say if you want to change it to this one, change back to miles per hour, and you want to do all the information as well, the speedometer will still be visible, but everything is just in the middle. So it will always display your speed on the screen. No heads-up display, but that's pretty cool. What is this? Never actually seen the screen setup, so let's go ahead and press OK. So upper left is the compass right there. Upper right is outside temperature by default. Current gear, you can turn it off or on. I'm keeping it off because it was off. Favorite menu, and so on and so forth. So that's pretty much everything right now. And I have the radio off, so I'm gonna hit the value button, the power button right here. Everything's still the same. Got the Uconnect, just like the Dodge Charger, but it's actually slower for some odd reason than the Dodge Charger. So me, being 6'9", getting in here is easier than the Charger because it's just an SUV. I could just slide myself in here. I do have some leg room, and the seats are comfortable, but I do want to stay on track. The real question is, should you get this or the Dodge Charger RT? It's pretty much the same as the Dodge Charger. Only thing that's different is the ride height, and that does kind of changes things obviously when you're driving along, but I'll get to that in a second. But as a comfort, I mean, I got pretty much, it's pretty much similar, or should I say on par. I would say on par as the Dodge Charger, but I think that the Durango for me just clips it just a little bit more better in terms of comfortable. I'm more comfortable in here than I am in the Charger. But that's just the front and driver's seat. Let's go ahead and take a look at the back seats. The Charger had a very sloping rear end just for like that muscle car vibe effect, and it really did hinder my headroom. And this right now, yeah, I'm comfortable. And back here I got my temperature gauge. I could change the fan. So I just turned it on. There was no rear seat passenger control. I just literally just flicked the switch and now it's on. And now that I turned this one off, now the main air conditioner is on. So I have to go back up there and turn off in a second. But back to the rear seat. It's pretty comfortable back here. I have enough room. I also got some nice, you know, I could change it from the feet to the face. Sorry, at the face. Now it's at the feet. So this is the face part right here, and I control the heated seats. Got your, ooh, the outlet back here. That's pretty nice. You got 2 USBs and the heated seats. But this isn't just a 5-seater. It's actually a 6-seater. So the Durango shares, at least for the 2011, the third generation, it shares the same platform as the Jeep Grand Cherokee. But the Jeep Grand Cherokee only being a 5-seater, this is a 6-seater. So you got 2 in the front, obviously, 2 in the middle, as in captain chairs, and then 2 in the rear. So I'm actually gonna try to sit in the rear and see how that fares. If anyone's wondering, I'm 6'9". I'm gonna try to sit in the third row, like an old school minivan. And I'm sitting back here. I ain't gonna be comfortable. at least in the rear. I know you guys can't really see me in the dark, but I do have the dome lights on right now. I can't really sit up straight in the rear, but if I just slouch a little bit, I mean, I can make this work. Nobody else would be able to sit beside me, probably like a dog or whatever, but you can make it work back here. That's all I can say. If you're 6 foot now, you can make it work back here. So while I'm back here, I still have the dome lights on in the front. You have some dome lights here in the rear for the rear passengers. You got 2 vents, so you got 4 vents at the top and 4 dome lights. Not really much a big fan of the place of the cup holders. It should have just been at least where the armrest is, or they do have some. Do they have some on the doors? You have something on the doors. I'll get to that second, but I think that's not a good place to put the cup holders, just from my point of view. So in terms of practicality, yeah, this is way much better than the Charger. Obviously the Charger is being a 5-seater. That may have to compare a Jeep Grand Cherokee to a Charger, more likely a Cherokee, but I'm just comparing these two because, for one, they both had the Hemi, both rear-wheel drive, and they're both white, and I just had them in my possession. So, oh boy, getting out of the 3rd row ain't pretty for someone like me. Talking about pretty, I do think this is a handsome SUV. I wish Fiat would give at least the Dodge brand a little more love. Seeing that for the Ram, the new infotainment center, I mean, even the Jeep Wranglers, the base ones, the screen, everything just looks so much better than this old Uconnect system right here. I mean, it's 2020. I was kind of hoping for just a little change, but I see the direction where Fiat is going. But nonetheless, it's a Hemi. Speaking about the Hemi, it's pretty cool that we still have this Hemi in the year 2020. So things are a little different between this Hemi and the Durango versus the Hemi and the Dodge Charger RT. So for in the Dodge Charger, you have 370 brake horsepower, and in the Durango, you have 360. So you will think that at least, well, the Durango has more torque than the Charger. So the Durango's 5.7 V8 has 390 foot-pound, but the Charger, for some reason, has 395. So there is a slight difference, but yet the motor's the same. I can tell the difference between the two is going to be because of the exhaust. It's actually pretty much sound the same as the Chrysler 300C if you get in the Hemi, or the Chrysler 300S. You can get the Chrysler 300S and the Hemi as well. The vents are actually functional. You can see my finger. So yeah, it does work. So they're all functional. Yeah. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and just go for a quick little drive. But let's go ahead and get a quick exhaust notes. For some odd reason, when I recorded the Charger, I put my phone down and just gave a little gas for, you know, the exhaust note. But for some odd reason, I have no idea what the video is. So I got to make sure I keep this one. I could tell you this right now, and between the Charger and the Durango, I'm gonna throw the 300 here as well. It seems like the engine revs more freely or quicker than it does in the Charger for some odd reason. That's just something weird, something not caught from my point of view between driving these two. I'm not saying the Charger revs slow. It gets up pretty quick. Trust me, it gets up really quickly. At least in terms of just revving, free revving. You hear more of the induction in the engine, and you do hear a little more of the exhaust. Well, I say like the mufflers, just a little bit, versus like the pipes of the Charger. All right, so let's go for a drive. It does have an 8-speed automatic gearbox, the same as it is in the Charger as well. You can select the gears down here on the gear lever or in the power shifters behind the steering wheel. It's smooth, it's easy to operate. But the Durango is like a very narrow SUV. It's a very narrow and long. It feels like it should be like a GT package. Even though it's a RT, I don't feel like it's a heavy, you know, rough sports car type. The charger itself was comfortable as well. For ride comfort, this is actually pretty nice. Put sport on. A little green flag will appear up in the front. And the exhaust note does get noticeably louder, just slightly. It's not the same as the Chargers, you know, burble exhaust, the loud listen to me. This is more still civilized than the Charger. Sure, you can just put your own pipes on it, but I'm just comparing standard versus standard, stock and stock, you know, straight from the factory. But from my point of view, should you get this over the Charger RT? Well, if you're a family man, yes, most definitely. The Charger is not that practical, even if it's the RT or just the base GT. The trunk size, even though it's a large sedan, the trunk size of the Charger is big, but not as large as you would expect from a full-size sedan. Now this, even though it is a 6-seater, you can put the rear 2 seats down, but then you're only limited to 2 seats in the back. So it's going to be a 4-seater versus a 5-seater. But yet again, for the Charger, it has that transmission tunnel in the middle, so it's pretty much the same. So unless you have like 2 kids, which is kind of average, you know, a family, then yeah, this is definitely the better option than the Charger. So if you're going for the Charger GT or the Durango GT, it doesn't matter. The Charger is a very nice sedan, but it can't beat the SUV market. But you do have other competitors you need to consider as well. You got the Kia Sorento. You have the Nissan Pathfinder. I think the Nissan Pathfinder is slightly larger than this because you have a 7-seater. This is a 6-seater. I'm not for sure if you actually get this in 7-seat configuration. Enough with the comparison between the Charger RT and the Durango RT. This is pretty much a good SUV just itself.